What we're going to cover today is actually how to create a design, how I create a design from start to finish. When using the software, there's only 4 steps in using the software. And I want you to think about questions or problems that you may have seen in the past when creating a design. And just feel free to post those questions in the chat anytime you want to. Now, when creating a design, the first thing I do need is I need an image. The image is going to behave like a template for me to create from. There's a lot of websites you can utilize to actually find great artwork. I usually use Google. Let's see, I'll open up my, let's see, do I have Google? All right, let me just open up the Internet Explorer here. And I will go to Google. I use Google for a couple reasons. Oh boy. All right, there we go. I'll just do clip art images. So if, let's see, we have, it's Labor Day. So let's go Labor Day clip art, okay? A couple things I'm looking for. By the way, I always end my search with clip art because it's going to show me images that are not pictures, okay? Like with halftones and shadows, whatnot. And then I'll go to images here. And a couple things I'm gonna be looking for in the design is I want to make sure that the graphic is not small. You could see on this Labor Day design, my image resolution size is 270 pixels by 193. Now, a lot of people will save graphics to the internet under a low pixel resolution because they save money by not taking as much room on their website, and they could still post these designs. These designs will actually be very small in nature, but they also pose another problem, and that's the different colors that I have in each one. I'm just going to save this picture to my computer and let you see. Okay, just call it Untitled. And let me go ahead and get out of here. And let's see, and then we'll choose something that has a higher resolution. To find those, you go to Search Tools and go to Size, and I choose Large, and it'll show me images that I have a larger resolution. You can see here's the same Happy Labor Day at 1349 pixels by 893. And this one here is going to be a little bit better. You can see right away how solid those colors are and how clean those images are, okay? So I'll save this one too, okay? The other thing I like to do is I want to make sure I don't create designs that are copywritten, okay? And they are labeled for reuse. And if you go to usage rights here, you can choose clip art images that are labeled for reuse as well as modification, means you could change it, okay? You see the NBC logo here is available, and you could page through several different pages here. It gives you great ideas for different clip arts, okay? Another website I do like to go to is, let's see, Pixabay. So I go www.p X pixabay.com. Now, Pixabay will actually give you free high-quality images, okay? And let's just go ahead and go with let's go with gymnastics, okay? And then you have filters here. I can do vector graphics, illustration. So I'm going to do vector graphics, and I'll search. And there we go. So now we have some graphics here that we can use, okay? You do have the ability to choose, let me see, orientation, category, size, color. Let's go to category. And see, you get different categories of things here. Popular graphics, vector graphics, and you can use these too. So if I'm looking for something sporty, like something like this, I can choose this, download and save it, okay? I'm staying away from things, especially in rhinestones, that have shadowing, like right in here, because you can't capture those effects in the software. You just, the smallest stone element you have is a 2 millimeter. In order for me to be able to capture shadowing like this, where I have 3 tones, I have the base brown, I have this mid-tone tan, I have this copper look in here and then this brown in here. I would need, this image would have to be very large, okay? So you want to look for simple graphics, okay? And this will help you as well, okay? So you can use Pixabay. Most of my text I find from 1001 Free Fonts, or I go to dafont.com, so I think everyone here is familiar with that. Once we have our image, let's go ahead and go back to our design era. And I'll go to images over here on the left sidebar. And we see we have our two images. Now this one here is a 5 inch wide by 3.5 inch high. And this one here is only a quarter. This is the lower resolution. You can see it's only 150 dpi. When I bring this image in, and let's go ahead and grab the other image too. We'll lay that one right next to it. Okay. You can see the differences right away, okay? This image having a lower resolution is going to be smaller in size, and it's for basically saving space on a website. And you can see when we zoom into it, it's not clean at all. This would be a nightmare to try to use any automated tools within the software to create. Okay, it just won't see it. Matter of fact, if I go to Hotfix and I choose just my fill and I choose autocomplete, when I click on this blue banner, you see it doesn't even see it. Okay, it only sees the color I'm selecting. So it's so low resolution that it won't see it at all. But when I come over here and I choose this red, you see you can see it and it selects it. Okay, so always try to choose an image resolution higher than 600 dpi when choosing graphics to create on the website. Okay, so that's step number one, looking for nice clean graphics. Step number two is deciding how to create this design. Okay, a lot of people only have the 2-color Rhinestone machine. Some people will have the 6. Okay, how would I go about this? Can I do all the colors? Yes, I can do every aspect about this, except, you know, look in the blue right here. You see how it goes to lighter blue shadowing here, like a gradient out to a darker blue? I do not fill this in. Instead, I only do an outline of the banner, just enough to show the client that it's a banner, and then happy is seen clearly. Unless it's going on a dark shirt, then I could populate the entire blue, and then you'll see the white stones on a dark shirt. But if it's going on a light color shirt, chances are I will not fill the banner with blue stones. I will just do an outline of the banner. That way there, the word happy in clear stones is better seen. Okay, it kind of gets lost when you fill that banner. If it's important to fill the banner, I'll just do a light fill inside the banner so the happy still shows up. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is actually size my graphic. So I'm going to click on my graphic, and the first thing I want to note is my bounding box touching the edges of the graphic in all 4 locations. See up here, you see how the bounding box is touching the gold starburst here. On the bottom it's touching it, on the right it's touching it, and on the left it's not, and that's because there's a little pixelation on the edge here. You can see there's a couple stray pixels out here which makes the bounding box come off it. Now, if your bounding box is not touching, you cannot just go to layout and resize using the size button here, okay? Because you're actually resizing the canvas. The canvas is the white background that's part of this JPEG image, okay? You're only sizing the white, and if the white is not the same size parameters as the graphic, then my image is going to be smaller than my intended size. So if your bounding box is not touching, you want to use set size and then measure the graphic, okay? So I'll move from left to right all the way to the end, and what I just measured is highlighted here. If I needed this to be 7 inches, I'll type 7 inches. Now the graphic is 7 inches, but the white background is 7.11, and it's because of this white space that's between here, okay? All right, so next step I need to do is I've edited my image, okay? So now what I need to do is I'm going to inspect my image for coloration issues. When I zoom in, you can see the red looks pretty opaque, which means that the red that's in the middle is the same as the red on the outside. We don't have that information on the light blue. You can see the light blue has a darker tone here, and it does go to a lighter tone here. And that's, again, from pixelation, okay? It's not a vector. So I would decide whether to reduce my colors, okay? And let me show you what this tool does. Reducing the color cleans the image up even further than what you have here. When I click on color reduction, I'm telling it up here how many colors to reduce it to. My image has a blue, a clear, a gold, a yellow, a red, and that's it. It's 5 colors. If I choose to look for up to 32 colors, you will see all the different shades of blue that it's seeing. You see them all right here? The lighter blues, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 colors, or 5 or 6 colors that are making up the lighter blues that you see in here. And then the darker blues, we even have a lot of different golds in there. So let's go ahead and reduce this up to 5 colors. Hit the enter button. And you're looking at the after. You're looking, this is before and this is after. Now you can see I've taken away the gradient fill in the happy where it was lighter in the middle, made it a solid. Matter of fact, all my blue is solid, okay? And my image looks pretty close to what I have on the other side. As you increase the numbers, you start to bring in more colors to the finished product. Now you start seeing that gradient come in. And when you bring in up to number 7, we'll add a couple more tones of blue up here. And then you just keep going up and going up and going up until we got all the tones in the blue. You see it starts narrowing out to where we're going to, with enough colors, we'll end up with something like this over here. But it's really not necessary. We can't capture that information in rhinestones. If I was doing embroidery, then yes, I could do it. Okay? All right. So let me see. I think I got a question here. Nope, no questions. Okay. All right, so hold on, I'm having a little difficulty here. Let me see what happened here. Give me just a second. Yeah, it's not responded. Okay, let me just reopen it. Sorry about that. The computer I'm using here in the media room does not have a lot of RAM in it, so it does tend to lock up on me every now and then if I go too fast. All right, so let's open up that image again. So we go here, go to images. I'm going to bring in the large one, that's 150. And then I'm just going to go to layout because I already know it's 7.011. There we go. And I'm going to go to and click on my image. I'm going to reduce colors to 5 colors. There we go. And return. Okay, so now we have our cleaned image, okay? And you can see now that we zoom into those areas, we no longer have those lighter shades. We have a couple stray pixels here, just from the type of image it is, but that's no big deal. That I would not even see when there's blue stones in there. All right, step number 3 is actually converting all objects to stones, and to do that, I need the stone catalog to what I intend to use. So I go into my catalog here, and I'll just move this over to the side here. Let me see, I'll move it over this side. Just so I could see my image, okay? And I always sweep out, I always start with a new catalog, okay? I only like to add the stones that I intend to use in the design, okay? So the first thing I need to add is my 2 millimeters. And I'm gonna look at my images, and I'm gonna see I need 2 millimeter clear, and I need 2 millimeter red, and possibly a 2 millimeter blue. So I'm gonna add those. I'm gonna go to standard round and choose SS6. And I'll add my clear, and I'll add my blue, and we'll look for red, and we'll add it to it. And now there's my 3 colors, and now what I'll do is I'll add my gold. Now my gold is going to be SS10, and I'll probably use topaz, smoked topaz, and then I'll use the regular topaz. And I'll probably use, have to use an SS6 there, and I'm just going to do an outline instead of the fill. and then we'll use the blue. So I'm gonna choose a different blue, a lighter blue for the banner here. All right, so there's my 6 colors, okay? So I hit accept. And now what we want to do is start to convert, okay? What we want to do is we want to be methodical in how we convert. Stones that are trapped underneath other stones are going to delete when we do our collision searches. So I'm always thinking about how to create my design and in what steps, okay? For instance, what in the red and white striping of this Labor Day, what is the most prominent color, okay? Now, if I intended to put this design on a light color shirt, obviously the red tone I would want to be more prominent than the clear, since the clear would be lost with the lightness of the shirt. If this is going on a dark shirt, I would want the clear to be more prominent than the red, okay? And I'll tell you right now, let me go ahead and convert a couple things. I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to choose my clear stone. I'll choose my fill pattern. I'll choose autocomplete. And I'll click on the white. And we'll set our bead space into 3. All right, and now what I'll do is I'll click on the red. Oh. And then we'll do the red. Oh. Set it to 3. You can see that that clear stone is going to delete, you know, because it's underneath when I do my overlap sweeps. Okay, and if this is going on a dark shirt, I would not want that to happen. I would want the white to delete the overlap of the red. I would want the red on top. So I'm always thinking about what I'm going to create first, what colors. So we're going to intend for this to be on a dark color shirt. So I want the clear stones to be more prominent. So what I'll do, let me just move this up here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the red stones first. I'm going to choose my fill pattern, set my bead space into 3, and I'm going to click on the first color red here, and then I'm going to hold my control button and start selecting all the other reds in the image. And you can see now if you had a vectored image, you can actually use the object manager to actually go through and then choose all your vector colors after you ungrouped it. So I'll click on all these. There we go. Still holding my control button down. There we go. So now I got all my red selected, so I hit enter. And then I'll just go to select object. And then from my object manager, I want to affect all the bead spacings at the same time. And I could do that in here. So you see there's all my objects right here. See, when I select them in the image, you can see what I'm selecting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the first one in the list, go down to the bottom, hold my shift key, select the last one. You see they're all selected. And I am going to decrease this to 2. And let's see how that looks. Looks fine on the bottom parts, but on the middle parts it doesn't look too fine. So let's get in and do it again. Let's get in and add a little bit of margin, okay? Now what margin is, for those that don't know what it is, you can see that when I click on this shape, the vector line that created this path for me is right on the edge of the red. And it puts the stone half off the red and half on the red. So by using margin, margin would be the second number up here, it actually starts to step in, just like this, okay? So now it's more inside. So I can see 6 is probably the best number to choose for this. So I'll select all of them, and I'll choose 6 for the margin. Let's take a look and see what that looks like. Doesn't really look too good. There's a couple options we have, okay? We can actually set that back to 0. And instead of doing a radial fill, I'll do what's called a hexagon fill. And let's see how that looks with the image. I think that might work, okay? It might be a little bit better for me, okay? All right, so now we're going to turn off the hotfix, and now we're going to choose our next stone to be used. So I'm going to go to hotfix, I'm going to choose the clear stone, and I'm going to choose the working tool that I intend to use. I'm going to choose my bead spacing. I'll choose hexagon fill. All the settings that I need this to be, and I'm going to start choosing all the white. If you accidentally select a color, just select it again, it deselects for you. Mouse on this computer is dying with the battery, and it doesn't really track very well. And my apologies for that. And then hit enter. Okay, so let's turn on a hotfix and let's take a look at what we did. Okay, so I'm going to go to select object, and I'm going to choose all the white. And it starts from here. Hold my shift key down, go down to the bottom of the list, select them all. And let me see, yeah, I'm at 3 and hexagon. Let's go to 2. Let's see what that looks like. And I do add a dark background to the image. That don't look too bad. Okay, we get to see what it is. Just as a if I resize this, of course the size may not be correct, okay? So I may want to just resize this to get even a better detail. When a customer comes to you and they say I want something 3.5 inches by 2.5, I usually choose the smallest part of the design and see if I can create it at their size, and be able to read that it is that it's legible. And if I cannot create it in that size, I will create it at the right size and let them know, okay? Even though I'm using the smallest stone element here, sometimes it just doesn't work out the way I want to. All right, so that looks a lot better. I'm going to keep it that size. So I'm now going to do my hotfix overlaps, and then I'm going to solve and see where it leads me. That looks good, okay? That doesn't look too bad. Remember, we're not looking for exact replica of what our graphic is. We're looking for simulation of what it's supposed to be, okay? All right, so now what I'll do is I'll do the, I'm still on the clear stones, so I'm now going to do the word happy here, and I'll choose the fill, choose my bead spacing at 3, and I'll start clicking on the word happy. And let's turn off our graphic and see how that looks. And then what I'll do is I'll select individual letters and tweak them up a little bit. Okay. So you can see the A where the centerpiece is so small. Turn on the image, and what I'll do is this, I'll just use edit hotfix, and I'll just bring this stone down to here, and I'll bring this stone down here so it acts as part of this crossover section. Right click on it and go to insert hotfix. You can add a stone, and I'm not too worried about this being right here. I'll just move some stones here, make the cap, and I'll just let the fill outline that open area, just like that. Let's take a look at this P here. So this P is missing a couple stones, so I'll just move these stones down a little bit, and just get a little bit narrower space there. And I'll even put this one right in between. on smaller objects like in lettering, it's important not to rely on the automated features. I mean, the automated features will put the stones in there for you, but oftentimes you will have to use a little bit of manual methods to actually get the look that you're trying to achieve. Let's go and click on this one. Let's go to Insert, and I'll just finish this up. And I'll just put one here, and then I'll just put one here. Try not to be so close together, okay? There we go. That looks a lot better, and we'll do the same thing for this one here. Normally what I would have done with this is copy and paste the P, but the angle, I'd spend more time rotating this P to get the right angle because it is on a curve. So I'm not gonna waste my time. It only takes a couple seconds to actually move the stones to where I need them, and then add the stones that I need to create the same image as I have on the with the other P. There we go. And then on the H here, what we're going to do, we're just going to get a little bit more room for this middle section here. Invalid error cast, Kristen, means that it sounds like you clicked on something while the computer was trying to do something else, and therefore it negated your command to do whatever you're trying to do, like maybe fill or change a color of a stone to something else. And the computer was actually busy doing something at the time, and you interrupted it, so it just gave you an invalid cast. And it does that just so it could continue doing what it was supposed to do. Just close down that image, okay? Close down that design, and then it'll reopen. Just if your computer's processor is a little slow, it does take a little bit longer to write the information. I recommend a 3.4 gigahertz processor. Just so I have a little bit more expedient way of saving of when the computer saves the design or backs it up. Okay, so I'm just going to move this over a little bit, move this one over a little bit. I just want to get a little bit more room to get a little bit more dense fill here. And now that I did that, now we got this center section that we could add just a little bit of stones to. And then we'll fix the bottom here. Line up the stones right underneath each other. There we go. That looks pretty good. So let's take a look at it without the image. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Probably the A. By the way, whenever you're deciding whether you should edit something, always zoom out to 100%. And if your eye goes somewhere where you have to, like this bottom part of the Y here and this top part of the Y, definitely attack those sections, okay? What I'll do is I'll look in here, see what happened, and I'll just move this stone down and try to fix the error. And it was basically because of the clip art image shape that this occurred. And then on the Y, I just need a stone here. I need to move this stone over. It's the shape of the Y. It's not like an Arial block font. It's actually a little bit more curve style of a font, like a cartoon. And I'll just move this in. You don't need such a heavy Y. And I'm just going to move this down. This will give room for this. Move this up, and then finally add the stone. And then we'll turn the image off one more time. See, that looks a lot better. Okay, just a little bit of editing is going to be required. Probably this line of A needs to be lined up a little bit better, which means we're probably going to add another stone up here. And then I'll just move these over so that it stays in a straight line. And that looks a lot better. I'm not too worried about this. You could spend a lot of hours wasting time trying to fix, like what I'll do is like this here, I'll just do this. I'll just go to Hotfix. I'll choose Path, and I'll just draw this line from the center of this stone to the center where I want it to be. Hit Enter, and then I'll just go ahead and do my solve overlaps. It'll delete the stones that are underneath, okay? And now all I got to do is just put one stone here, and that's quick editing right there. You can actually utilize that. Okay. Okay, so moving right along. All right, so now the next part I want to do is going to be I'm going to do the happy now, okay? And I'm going to choose the stone that I want to use. I'm going to use the light blue. If I choose the path file, which is going to basically outline, and I use auto, okay, autocomplete, it's going to see all the blue. See how it's selected because it's touching. So chances are I'm not going to use the autocomplete. Instead, because all the blue is the same, I'm going to use manual, and I'll just draw this out. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll start from a corner, and I'll start inside, so I'm providing myself a little bit of margin. I'm also going to go to curves on the node style, and I'm just going to stay right inside the line. And right here, I need to put a corner node, okay? If I don't, you see how it kind of curves on me out? It flares out on me, and it doesn't follow the shape of the graphic. So to put a corner node, I could hold the control button, and it's going to put a blue node in its spot. And if I release the corner and I place another curve here, you see how it just flares out like that? It's not the right shape I want it to take. So anytime you come to a corner, you got to hold the control button. So you put a corner node in there. Another one here. I'm going to do another one here, and another one here. And I'm going to stop right there, hit enter, process that. And I'm not worried about these. I will put them in one at a time. It's just a little bit easier for me, saves a little bit of time on accidentally having to move a lot of stones around. All right, and I'm going to start from here. I've got another corner here. All right, so now I'm going to stay a little bit further away because of my clear stones that are part of the happy. So I'm going to stay within it, and this is why I chose to do this instead of the sun, so I could see how far the sunburst has got to go. So again, we come to another corner node, so I hold the control button, click, and I'm going to stop right here, hit enter, and I'm just going to draw this one out. I'm just going to go from here to here, and I'll start again, corner node, corner node. If you make a mistake, just hit your backspace button and then redo it. And I'll always end up in the center of the first stone that I chose. There we go. We'll do our solve overlaps. It finds that stone. I could delete it. It finishes the path I just created. And now we'll choose manual hotfix, and we'll just place a couple stones where we needed to, where we stopped, because we weren't sure how it was going to end. This looks pretty good over here. We have to come over here and look at this, and we'll place a couple stones here. So maybe just one stone right in the middle there. All right, let's take a look at this. Okay, and you can see that looks pretty good. We may want to put another one here, and then I'll just choose Edit Hotfix. And I'll just move this stone down a little bit, just put a little bit more gap in between it. There we go. And see, now you can tell that's a banner. Now, if it's important that you have a filled banner, then what I'll do here is I will choose manual, and I'll just place them in a pattern here, a staggered pattern. I won't fill it in because I'm trying not to create a lot of work for myself when I do the overlaps. So you're just trying to give the illusion that it is filled. It is a filled banner, okay? And just by doing these random dots spaced apart, number one, you're decreasing your stone count in the design, achieving the desired result that the customer is going to want from a filled object. And see now, I'm just going to try to be a little bit more consistent with this. I'm going to be as sporadic as possible. Trying to get my stone placement between two stones, because when it's lined up between two stones, it gives more of an optical illusion that it has more stones than there actually are. Okay? You can see, and we'll just do half of this thing, and we'll zoom out and take a look and see what it looks like. See, by staggering your steps of stones, I'm not sure why that's coming up. Okay, so I have to shut it down again. All right. Sorry about that. This computer is not really the best computer to actually run the software. We tell you that when you buy your computer that you have to have this much RAM, this much processor speed, and a video graphics card. And over here in our media room, we don't have that. Let's see how much it's saying. Okay, so we still got most of the design still, but as far as all right. So let's go ahead and do what I was doing before, and I'll choose a stone, and we'll just do a random scattered pattern. I won't do as many as I just did on that last one. And I think what I was doing, why it actually crashed on me, is because it was auto backing up what I've done in the last 10 minutes, and I was trying to do a couple more things, interrupting it. So, but I think you're going to get the idea. By just scattering these stones like that, we can get a look of that it is filled. Okay, and you can see what I'm talking about. You actually get a nice little look for that. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and continue. Any questions, by the way? Anybody have any questions? It's been pretty much a quiet crowd here. All right, so I'm going to go to select object again. We're going to move on to the next one, and I need the yellow. I'm not sure why this is purple, and let's go to yeah, we're going to standard round. We went to SS6, and I'm going to use I'll just use a citrine. There we go. So we're going to use the citrine next, okay? And I'm going to use automated tools for that. So I'm going to click on this, click on this, click on the fill, set my bead space into let's go to 3. And I'm also going to use margin on this. Oop, I want to go to autocomplete. And we'll click on in here, enter. And I'm going to look at that. I'm going to look at it without my image. And I can see how much, now I'm going to see how much margin I need to apply every time I do this. So I'm going to take this down to 3. And I'm going to increase my margin to 8 and see if it comes away enough. Nope, let's go to 13. And that looks a lot better. Okay, so it looks like 13 is going to be our margin number, and 3 is going to be our fill number. So now what I do is when I go and create this design, I know what those numbers are going to be. It's going to be 3 and 13. And now we'll go to autocomplete. No, it didn't set to 3 and 13. I forgot to do it, but. All right, so let's go out here. And let's go ahead and go to Object Manager, because usually, without the Object Manager, you got to click on each section and then set and then set it. Like for instance, I would have said 3. I want to do all the yellow sections. I can only do that from the Object Manager. There it is. I'll go to Body. And it's 3, and I'll choose 13, and I'll choose 3, just make sure, and let's take a look at that. May need just a little bit more on this one here, on this yellow, so I'm just going to go up a little bit more. So it comes away from my blue. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Okay, so we have a little bit more. We have a little bit more stones to fill. We didn't get any of the stones here because our margin decreased to a point where we needed to do, where it omitted those stones. So I'd probably add them. Let's see what it looks like though, and see how bad it looks. Okay, so let me try this. Let me use this and just use. Let's use a hexagon fill and see if that looks any better. Play with your fill patterns. Okay, with the fill patterns like a hexagon fill, I can go to a 17 on the bead spacing and get a little bit, let's go to 0 on this. That didn't change anything. Let's go to 12. Okay, that looks a little better. All right. I'm gonna actually go to 8 on this, okay? And we'll do the same thing. Let me go back to a radial fill first. Yeah, no, I like the hexagon fill. Yeah, that looks a lot better. All right, and then we'll do, and these here, you can see that it's way out there. So what I want to do is I probably should have did the yellow first. So to fix that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my yellow to the top in my bead bar. In front, it's going to run first before the yellow or the white and the red and even the blue. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort the overlap. I'm going to sort the hotfix. You can see right here, my yellow is still on top of the blue, and it will be on top of the blue until I resort my palette order, resort my bead design based upon my palette order over here. And now now you can see the yellow is now behind the blue. So what I did is I organized my bead order here. So the yellow is first, and then all the other colors will be secondary. So that means when I do my overlap sweeps, we delete the yellow, which we needed to do, okay? That looks pretty good. All right, so let's go ahead and turn back on our image. And as far as these are concerned, pretty much manual. Just place them in. You're not going to be able to get them all in there. And I'm deciding right now, I'm probably not going to be able to do the blue border. Definitely not going to be able to do the clear border that you see there. I may decide to do something else. I may decide to do what's called a shadow drop. I'll have to see. So I'll just place a couple stones here that allows us to see that these are starbursts and they do go outside of the image here, and probably do a couple over here. There we go. All right, so now we're going to do our last part, and that's the topaz. And let's go ahead and click on the fill, and we'll see how this looks. We'll just enter, and then I'm just going to go right to my bead spacing. I'm going to go to 4, and I'll adjust my margin to 13, and see how far I got to take the margin up. Probably, I don't think that's touching anymore. No, that's not touching. So we're going to set our margin to 18. So the numbers that we're looking for are 4 on the bead spacing and 18. So now we'll just go ahead and go back to our fill. And then we'll set this up to 4. Do this before you choose the autocomplete. Okay? And now I could choose autocomplete. The numbers will stay. Okay? And select it. You can see it's holding true. You got to do that one there. I might have to change. See, that one there didn't set. Okay, so let me undo. Go back to 4. I'm not sure why it didn't set there. And 18, and it keeps going back. That's, there we go. All right, so I'll just have to do that, and then I'll have to go back and do all the numbers. So I'm just going to select them all. And this is pretty elaborate design, a lot of information in it. And this design always looks better if it's sized for a jacket back. You'll actually get better detail from it. I do not worry about these small areas in there. I suggest you don't either, because you're not going to notice it because it's going to delete, or it's going to put so few stones in there. Always do the more broad, okay? So that now that that's done, I don't do inside the bees. I won't do inside the bell. Let me see what it looks like. All right, so now let's go ahead and choose all those topaz I just made in the object manager. Shift key. And I'll change it. So I know it says 4 and 18 because it's reading some of the ones that I was able to set the bead space into 4 and 18. So I'm just going to reset it to 4 and 18 so the rest of them follow suit. And there we go. So let's take a look at this. All right, so now let's see what this image could look like on a jacket back. If this is going to be about, let's go to about 11 inches. We go a little bit bigger. And you see, the higher we go, the more detail we're going to be able to get from this Labor Day. You see, there's a lot of art that you're not going to be able to do. What I normally would do with this is I would probably do a mixed media effect on this. Like the starburst, I would actually do in vinyl, glitter vinyl. And then the rest of the stuff like the Labor Day and the happy and the banner, I could do all that in rhinestones. And that'll save you on stone count too. Make you a little bit more profitable on the back end, you know, because you're not using as many rhinestones in the design, where glitter has the same reflectivity. If it's good glitter vinyl, I would do things like that. Okay. Now, if you just to answer a question I know that I usually get asked here is, okay, if I'm using glitter vinyl, how do I use it in this design? This design is a JPEG. So what I need to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete all the yellow and yeah, let's get rid of, well, I'll just go over here in my B bar and let's get rid of the yellow and the topaz. Okay. All right, and we'll just get rid of all these. We want to set it up for vinyl. So what I need to do is I need a vector, okay? Let me just get rid of all this stuff here. All right, there we go. So I knew I shouldn't have done inside that B. It just taken more time to delete all the stones. I decided late that I'm not going to do. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off my stones, my hotfix, and I'm going to convert this to a vector. To convert it to a vector, number one, it needs to be a clean graphic, okay? That's the high resolution image. You need to reduce the colors, okay? If you don't reduce the colors, it's not going to vectorize very well, okay? We already did that. We reduced the colors to 5. We found a nice big large graphic. We're going to convert the vector. And we're going to filter first to see the colors. Now this is saying I only got 4 colors. And it is only going to show me 4 colors, okay? You see what it did? It took out our yellow. Now this may be okay. We may just want to do the gold here, gold glitter vinyl, instead of doing like a 2-tone, which would be a little bit more difficult. I like the difficult. So let's go to, let's up this filter to 16. It will only see the 5 colors I created, okay? Even though it says 16, okay? And it's asking me for a transparent, which means the transparent will be omitted. It sees the white background of my graphic. So anything, you see this right here? Anything that is the color that's in the transparent will actually be deleted. Since I need the white for rhinestoning, okay, I need to leave that. So if there's white in your image that you don't want to be deleted from the graphic, you got to choose no transparency, okay? I don't care about the white. I already created the rhinestones for happy. So I'm just going to click on vectorize and then hit return. And there's my vector, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to get rid of the stuff that we're not going to use. And that includes all the red here. And I could do this right from here. I'm just going to choose vector from the object manager, go all the way down the list. I need the yellow. I'm going to hold the shift key, right click, delete block. And then we'll go down and get rid of all those blues here. It's probably the easier way instead of clicking on every shape. All right, let's go delete block. And I think we got it there, okay? All right, so now what I got to do is I got to make sure that there is no gold. Sometimes what they do, they solid the gold under here and overlap the secondary color. And this will be my vinyl now. And all I would need to do is load up my vinyl machine, and if you have a GraphTech or a GCC24, if you have an Ioline or a Roland GSS cutter, this software will recognize it. All you do is into the save, you go to send vector graphic to cutter, and I don't want to select all. I just want to select the, let's select the yellow first, okay? So I'd probably put yellow right there. So I just selected all the yellow, and I would send this to the cutter,
and selected figures only. Okay, so there's all this. That's all my yellow pieces. That'll get set to the color, the cutter. Then after it finishes, I choose all my gold. Hold my shift key, select it, and then you send this to the cutter. And then only selected figures, and that's all the gold that cuts. And then you just, once you heat press that to the garment, the rhinestone machine should be running this part of it, and you just lay it over top of it. Okay, pretty simple.